Okay, cool. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the channel, of course. Those of you tuning in for the very first time, very warm welcome to you guys, and to the channel members and frequent flyers that already watch. Very good afternoon to you guys as well. I've got a couple of hours today where I've been able to get a stream done, albeit Valentine's Day. The missus is at work, so a couple of hours, so we're going to head from this community-made Munich Airport, which looks great, on the VATSIM Network, back to the Macco Simulations Birmingham, and we'll take a look at some of the early prep work for an update that will be coming I think by the end of the week for Birmingham, which will be really cool. We're here at stand 209 Alpha at Munich in the Lufthansa A320 there. Really cool livery, very much like that one. Great paint scheme, and we're testing out, as always, one of the latest mods, upgrades slash updates to the A32NX mod, and that is fixing the SimBrief integration. So as always, slightly rushed at the very beginning of the stream and playing catch up. We've got a couple of people joining us as well for the flight home. Jeff, Reese, Jacob, good afternoon to you guys. Channel members, thank you as always for supporting the stream. Russ, Mark, Terry, Dave, Alex, good afternoon to you guys as well. Yeah, this is a freeware Munich, MunichX I think it's been dubbed, and I'll just set 08 and GIVMI 6 echo departure, 08 rights. It requires you to have certain payware airports already in the sim, so that's off the top of my head the Gaia Vienna, Aerosoft Cologne, Macco Simulations Manchester, the free Aerosoft Paderborn, and the free Gatwick Airport by NKVY that I've covered quite a lot on the channel. So with all of those input, it allows you to go ahead and get this scenery, which is really cool. Just set up the rest of the aircraft. Lovely stuff, that's all good. Performance init A, init B, I want 360, which is what I filed for. Okay, cool. There's the METAR for Munich at the moment, so 12:20, 40 minutes ago, 070 at 3 knots, winds variable at 020 to 140 degrees, clouds visibility okay, -2 degrees, QNH 1038, high pressure. I'm not sure if, Matthew T, hello, welcome. I'm not sure if the live weather is broken again, or if it is this sunny, but I don't think this is, let's put unreal weather on for a bit. Let's see if this is any different. Mark, yeah, that's a very different name. Pretender, good afternoon. Matthew T, good afternoon to you too. Wow, quite a few guys at the back as well, flying. I think this has turned into an ad hoc group flight again. Brilliant. Hope you're all okay in the live chat. Thank you as always for tuning in. I'm not sure how you can download this actually. I had the developer send it to me because I had issues joining their Discord server, but it is very good. And we're testing today the fixes for the SimBrief integration as well. As quite a few of you know, randomly that got a bit bugged out and seemed to cause some problems. So we're testing that fix. So basically, it used to give us an away waypoint mismatch and a load of other strange stuff happening there, but it's all pretty much sorted out now, I believe, which is great. That's in this test branch that I'm using at the moment, of course. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. 08 right, fuel weight balance, centre of gravity and everything's done. Let's turn the EFB on, and ground equipment etc is clear. Yeah, I did think it looked sunny. It's unreal weather is on. I've put it back on live weather for now. Is this going to refresh? Probably not, and it's probably going to turn on the keybinds. Oh dear. Okay, so that's good. Of course, they've also updated. There we go, lovely. Lufthansa 2508. They've updated the latest, the glass cockpit textures, so now it looks like there's sort of dust and a glass screen. Let's turn these off. I triggered these on the keybinds by accident. Seatbelt signs are on. Let's get the beacon on, shall we? Nothing else has changed from me entering the MCDU stuff. Always check the keybinds can affect stuff with that currently, so I'm just making sure I haven't broke anything else. Looking good. And we've got no ATC, so I'm just going to set an initial climb to like 14,000 for now. Although on the map, yeah, just give me 20 miles straight up, no concerns or anything there. That's pretty good. Okay. Munich traffic, Lufthansa 2508, radio check.
Loud and clear.
Rob Jones, or Rob X Zones, thank you. The guys in the chat actually, thank him for this great scenery, and it looks absolutely incredible, doesn't it? Pretender, good afternoon, Jacob. Yep, hopefully this will be fixed. Sadly, over the last 3 days, it's only been me that's tested this twice, so I'm doing another test on it to hope it gets fixed. No one else has bothered testing it just yet. Hanu, good afternoon to you. Mahu Gaming, hello. Okay, I think most of these guys and most of these guys might be flying back with us, which is pretty amazing. We're using the LukeAirTool as well for announcements. Oh, I need Pushback Express. Of course I do. What we stand 209, and we're going to push back 08 right. Make sure I get this correct. Yeah, face south. Munich traffic, Lufthansa 2508, stand 209er, push and start face south.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the
That's all
parking brakes,
good.
please.
Let's pop them out of the belly.
Parking
Park
brakes
brake
released.
off.
Pushing back.
Captain K, hello. Yeah, Russ, a lot of the crashes at the moment are involving some payware sceneries that use a specific file when it clashes with the Bing data all of a sudden. So I intended actually today, I'm on 122.8 Alex, which is the Unicom frequency for VATSIM. There's a couple of bugs with it. Engine 2 start.
You are cleared behind A. Start your engines at your discretion.
Initially I was actually going to do this with a Simwings Munich, but the minute I spawned in, twice in a row, it crashed the desktop, so, and as you guys know, I very rarely get that. John, hello, welcome. Yeah, didn't intend to do a little trip today, but as I said, the missus is working, thankfully, so pretty safe with streaming today, just about. There we go, we'll go for this inner line here. Love the sounds. Matthew, no problem at all. Peter Buck, good afternoon to you. Okie dokie, so let's start the safety demonstration. It's on the LukeAirTool, flightsim.to if you guys want it, it's free. And engine 1 start. This is a great free scenery. Rob, great effort with this.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the right with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks. Have a good flight. See you later.
Wing, taxi. Terry, nice combo. You see, yeah, no problem at all. There's quite a few of us, so it's probably going to take 10 minutes to get on the ground, off the ground. Radar Robbo, good afternoon. Feel free to join if you want. There's no ATC, so it's a nice way to ease into this if you want. That's a static. Gonna get a little screenshot of this for the Discord. Engine 1 and 2 are stable. Ignition mode norm. Flaps 1. Built tip. Once it stops travelling. Jay, good afternoon to you. There you go. Green. That little blue marker comes off. Then you can hit takeoff config and you get your checklist. Munich traffic Lufthansa 2508, taxiing to hold point Delta Alpha 3, runway 08 right, via apron 2, Sierra.
Unit traffic speedbird 313, push and start, stand 508.
Y les rogamos que presten atención a la información que les daremos a continuación. Por favor,
Lead off.
antes del despegue y antes del aterrizaje.
God, how many languages are they doing this in?
Se encienda la señal luminosa de cinturones abrochados. En cualquier momento durante el vuelo puede haber turbulencias inesperadas, por lo que les rogamos que
What's brake
mantengan
max?
sus cinturones abrochados mientras estén
Spoilers
sentados,
are.
incluso si la señal luminosa está apagada. Asegúrense de que su equipaje de mano está correctamente colocado debajo del asiento delantero.
So, Max, hello, welcome. We're testing the SimBrief fix. So, a lot of us were finding that all of a sudden the SimBrief integration had stopped working properly, and we were getting all sorts of weird faults whereby it would get a waypoint mismatch, or it'd miss out half of the route or anything like that, for example. That's been fixed, and this is the third test flight that I'm running for this. William, try. I'll put it in the live chat. John, no, it hasn't been updated yet, but he's kindly sent me a little bit of a work in progress for what is to be updated very soon. There's the BA flight there. So, it will be updated soon. But this is a bit of a sneak peek of what he's going to be doing and releasing on the day, which is cool. You don't want to go through that. So he'll be coming in this one, and this is the exit point here. You see, well, Jacob, yes. That will be getting fixed. See, he's taxiing in. It's bizarre, isn't it? Munich's actually fairly busy. 3 aircraft ahead, a BA behind, there's another one pushing. getting some ghost rudder input, bizarrely. Jacob, as I was saying, yeah, so vertical climb it's in another test branch again, frustratingly, that's not available to be downloaded or in any of the 3 mods currently, I don't think. So again, that's a little early. Hey Viertel, Robert X, who's in the, or Robert Jones, who's in the chat, actually packaged all this. It's community made. It's really good. You see no problem. You could always join us from Frankfurt. You could do a Frankfurt to Birmingham, perhaps. So this basically uses 5 different other airports and pulls the data off those, which we already own, and puts it into a Munich scenery. So we've already got all these bits on other things like Cologne, for example, but the community... Wow, what on earth happened there? Before I depart, I'm going to have a little look at my keybinds or my rudder settings, because I'm getting some odd ghost inputs. Just that, it was a very strange, harsh right rudder then. I'm going to do it now, actually, I think.
Munich traffic here, Papa Juliet, inside the aviation, ATM via Alpha, November, Delta, second.
Let's see if that helps. Because I know it's the T rudder, not the actual joystick. I have nothing but problems with the rudder pedals, with the setup I've got. Echo, hello, welcome. Welcome to you. Let's do cabin secure. Peter's, I found using VATSIM, the route you file from SimBrief is totally different to VATSIM and Navigraph, all different. Wow, what is it doing? Something's changed in the control surfaces, and it's on my settings or something, and it's given me some very bizarre hard right turns. Ever since I tried the experimental one the other week. There it goes again. Where's that BA? Yeah, he's miles behind. Nothing more frustrating than sensitivity issues in the sim. Let's do 21. There, brakes. Bear with me, folks. It does get quite frustrating at times, doesn't it? That's that one, so let's put the dead zone to 12. Apply and save. I can't do much more than that. Oops. They're miles ahead. It might just be the strange way that the sim renders wind being variable. Yeah, waypoints can be a little bit annoying. The great thing is, the thing that I'm testing at the moment for the SimBrief integration, I covered it in my tutorial that I updated the other day. 2 days ago, I think it was, in fact. We can now import via SimBrief waypoints. And even if they're written out correctly on SimBrief, for example, 55 degrees north, 040 west, it will put it into the correct format for Microsoft Flight Simulator for the MCDU, so it'll actually import waypoints now as well for us, which is great for oceanic trips. That seems to have, I don't want to jinx it, but it seems to have figured it out a little bit. Simon, I've got a keybind, so it basically deactivates the ability to control the drone cam, providing I can then control other things. But actually, you know what it'll be? It's my exterior view. Wow, there's 2 behind. You can turn a setting off called hood, which somebody kindly pointed out the other day. You can see my rudder twitching away. It's bizarre. Has anyone got a solution to that? You'll have to let me know. It's bizarre, isn't it? I can't put sensitivities up to 40% because that'll just be a bit far-fetched. And I kind of want to use the rudder if it all goes a bit horribly wrong. Pretender. Hopefully, you'd have seen the link that I put up on the Discord the other day. Delta Alpha 3's here. Just trying to look at Navigraph then. So there goes Graham. Right, I need to sort this right rudder pedal thing out because it's getting quite annoying. We've done cabin ready. For those of you tuning in for the very first time, if you're enjoying the stream, please do give us a thumbs up. Make sure you click that like button, and if you haven't done so already, I'd love it if you hit subscribe as well. Just slowing down to a little bit of a stop. And I'll just hold it on the brakes. Gonna flash my lights at him. Munich traffic, Lufthansa 2508 via Delta Alpha 3, lining up runway 08 right after the departing company traffic. Nobody's called up. Brakes off. Graham's rolling. There's no massive rush because he needs to get up and then we need to give him around about a minute, 2 minutes. Because we're all on the same route. Josh NH, hello, welcome to you. Let's idle the throttles. Controller dead zones in Windows 10. Oh right, you'll have to let me know how to find that then, because I'm not quite sure. I didn't even know that was. Didn't even know it was a thing. There we go. Let's get it on the brakes here. And he's had 36 seconds currently. That's all set. Make sure transponder's on anyway. That's all ready to go as well. Look at that, that's cool. A screenshot of those guys. Lufthansa 2508 departing in Munich 08 right. GIVMI 3 echo departure, 6 echo departure. Frost set.
Munich traffic speedboat 313 lining up runway 08 right.
V1, rotate. Twitchy rudder. Positive rate, go up. I'm going to set runway heading for a second, and then I'm going to activate autopilot because the sim, I think, wants us to go. Okay, that's fine. Let's have a little look-see at the airport down below. Look at that. Kai, hello, welcome. Non-stop. A little bit of wind there. Let's have a little look. Passing S speed, we can go Frost MCT and bring those flaps up. We get that dreaded drop. That's one of the things I hate about the logic of this. It's so violent how it transitions between those settings. Kai, this is the freeware. That's the freeware community-made improvements. Let's get rid of the chrono. Henrique, hello, welcome to you. I've got a second monitor now. I went ahead and grabbed a hold of one of those.
Traffic Speedbird 313 taking off runway 08 right.
But yeah, it requires Cologne, Vienna, Macco Simulations Manchester Airport as well, which is exceptional anyway, so I really highly recommend getting that anyway. And then 2 freeware airports, it pulls it all together basically. Rob, nice one, thank you very much. Great airport, by the way. Air Trooper in Spain, good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, I'm glad you liked the 747 being landed in LukeAirTool yesterday. It was a challenge I couldn't refuse. Martin, yeah. So, Dan, that's a great question. I'm expecting the mod to break again, because that tends to be what happens, sadly. Wow, that is some rough wind. Good grief, look at the wing flex. Let's get to the flight deck, see what's actually happening here. Right, actually, looks like the rudder. No, wow, it's all bugging out. So if that happens, that's not happened to me for a very long time, so that's bizarre. If that happens to you guys, then you just want to go in like I've just done, turn autopilot off and on again. And it seems to kick itself back in again. I just think that was bizarre. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Yeah, I'm expecting the A320 mod to break a little bit, somewhat. Though I'd imagine they'll get it fixed fairly quickly as well. I would imagine they'll have tweaked the flight models a little bit as well. Maybe changed the way that the icing or the dynamics of the ice or the weather works, perhaps. But who knows? Kai, is the Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS X kit? Usually I don't get any problems with it, which is bizarre. Joshua, awesome. I'm glad you enjoy that. It's still the only way we can actually get proper or any form of sort of livery or model matching in the sim at the moment, which is a little bizarre. Everything seems to be taking a long time, sadly. But hopefully it will get fixed and we get some decent model matching projects release packages at some point in the very near future, he says. That'd be great if we do. FSLTL is the one I'm watching, but every time they get somewhere, AIG come in and throw a spanner in the works, they have to then go back a step and start again, basically. I can never find a sweet spot for my rudder settings. I find that I very rarely end up using the rudder pedals themselves, just because of all of the issues that I seem to have with it. What's that really cool setting I had here for the view? I've used a custom view here where you can go outside the aircraft, so I've pulled one of the camera views out and I've set it as a custom view so it's not so loud. Bravo, awesome, thank you. If I do that now, will it? Is there potential for it to break the sim, or do you think it'll all be good? Russ, good question. I think there's a Q&A coming up, and I think from then it's going to be looking into perhaps once every 2 months, I think, so that they've got lots to talk about. There's Graham up above. Yes, contrails are going to be coming. I think I've read somewhere that the vapor trails, the contrails, are going to be delayed until the next update. Josh, what am I using for the custom cameras? So I've done a tutorial on how to set them and sort of shown you guys a couple. I can find the link if you want. Matt's channel member, hello to you, and DLN19, hi to you as well. If you want the link to that custom camera view tutorial that I've done, I can find it and send it on the live chat. Similarly as well, if you guys want to make a custom cell code like I've done here, did a tutorial about a month ago now for this, I think. But if you want the link to that, I can put that in the live chat as well. Just let me know and I'll get it sorted. Alex, yeah, nice. There's quite a few of us, so we need to try and keep a couple of minutes behind each other, I guess. At least 2 minutes separation minimum, just for as we get a little closer. Hopefully we get some ATC as we make our way as well. I've been reading that I've been reading actually and seeing a lot of documents as well, which sadly look like the 757 parallel 757 project. They've pretty much ripped everything from the Quality Wings FSX 757, which is really disappointing. So that's some sad news today for the sim. It's just I never thought that they were going to be able to build a 757 in the time frames that they were explaining, and I thought it was odd that some of the developers that were fairly decent started to disappear. And then this has all come out overnight. I've seen quite a few posts, documents and things that show that everything that they're using for their renders is all from Quality Wings, including lots of stuff within the code itself, so they've not even bothered to try and hide it. Josh, yes, so I've got it set Alt F4, F5 and so on and so forth for different custom views, so Alt F3 doesn't do anything yet. Well, I've got Alt F5, which is a really nice overwing view. Alt F6 is the other side. And then I've got Alt F7, which is the internal camera view, but outside the aeroplane, so without all the engine noise. And then I've got this one. That's my favourite. I think it looks absolutely brilliant. Yeah, Kai exposed somewhat. Very disappointing though, because that was one aircraft that I really was looking forward to. I would love a 757 study level in the sim. Would be absolutely joyous. Good, so that is turbulence, it's not the flight controls. Air Trooper, I've seen some people with very high spec have lots of crash to desktops. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Sugosh, hello. The only thing at the moment would be a known issue that's come about over the last few days involving some payware scenery. So Simwings Munich was affecting me, for example. They use some specific files. I can't remember the file type, but it's C something, CDL or something like that, and that clashes with the Bing map data when the sim tries to load, and it causes a crash to desktop because the sim doesn't know how else to handle it except for just kill itself. So I've ended up removing the Simwings thing. Yeah, the A32NX is fantastic, Jacob, and the 737 from PMG, which would be very good as well. I'm really looking forward to the flybywire A380, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to test that. So I'll be bringing you guys some very early access test flights, hopefully all well and good, providing I'm still on their testing team when that comes about. And looking forward to the CRJ as well. There's the FAQs for that has now gone live on the Aerosoft website, on the forums. So I suspect that that release is imminent as well. Of those of you waiting for the Aerosoft CRJ, that scenery down below, it looks absolutely incredible. That is the worst joke I've seen all day. Or shall I say I'm being affected by this? That's great. Oh dear. Yeah, bravo. I'll try and make a note of it, and I'll do it after the stream today. So it was Windows start. I didn't even know there was a dead zone thing within that. So thank you very much for letting me know. And then you reset it. So once I reset that within the Windows settings, will I need to reset the dead zones within the sim again, or will it remember that, do you know? No dislikes, only likes, please. Josh, yes. So gosh, EGLC is made by Orbex, and I've read that Orbex scenery at the minute, like particularly, is having really bad crash to desktop issues at the moment, which is why I'm avoiding a lot of their scenery. That, and because of the amount of static aircraft they've plastered all over them. So I've got 4 or 5 Orbex sceneries installed, including Gothenburg, Vienna, which look fantastic, but they're either full of static aeroplanes, which ruin it for me, or they've got that crash to desktop issue that everybody seems to be having at the moment. So I'm quite keen to avoid those. Hopefully next week for the update they'll be fixed, I'd like to think. Jacob, yeah, hopefully those of you who have bought PMDG in the past will get a small discount, although it's PMDG, so probably not. They'll probably charge full price. Who knows? Hopefully they price it a little bit better for the sim being a lot more popular than any others in the past. So offer it maybe a little bit more of an affordable price, perhaps, like Aerosoft are doing. Josh was asking for route changes, how do I change the route? So same principle as importing the routes, or if you were going to import this and fill it all out as normal yourself, you'd go into your flight plan tab as we're in now, and all you do is, if you're going to change the whole route entirely, hit clear and then click on all of the waypoints one by one that you want to remove, and then just rebuild it again. So you could go into, for example, ESAMA or REKDI, and then you could, if you're going to fly an airway, you can type the airway in here as it shows here, the airway, and then the waypoint it ends at. Create your little list, and then you'll have a temporary flight plan. Make sure you then hit insert to commit the changes. Basically, it's quite easy once you've done it a couple of times. A lot of the things with the A32NX is just getting used to the way some of it works, and some of the the niche bugs, if you like, and the workarounds for a few things. Darren, hello. That is very fortunate. Danny in Chile, hello, welcome to you, nice. Yeah, Alex, the smaller airports, especially in the Greek islands, I know there are a lot of developers at the moment offering those, but I'm a massive advocate for freeware. So the Greek islands, especially in the sim at the moment, are exceptionally well covered with a lot of freeware products that you can download. Samos, for example, is exceptionally good, and it's free on flightsim.to, But there's also a payware version, which bizarrely, for a tiny airport, is £22 from memory, which is effectively just money grabbing. And the freeware version is exactly the same, and I really like it. I've got the freeware version installed that I covered in my Samos tutorial a few weeks ago, so you guys can see it there if you want, right at the end of the tutorial for Samos. And the link to that as well is in that video as well. But I can really recommend a lot of the Greek islands, Skiathos, Mykonos, Thessaloniki, I'm trying to think of the others now, Corfu I think as well. Quite a few freeware airports available for the Greek islands, and they're all very, very good. Bravo, that might be why, because I've just updated Windows today, so that would make sense. Joshua, on your vPilot settings, if you've got the client open, vPilot program open, you want to click into settings on the top, and then you want to go to notifications, and then there's 5 options. Make sure they're all ticked. The one at the bottom that says show incoming text messages in simulator is the thing that pops up. Oh, there we go, William, thank you. Yeah, so there's a payware Samos for £12, but there's a freeware version that is really, really good and free of charge. So just get the freeware version and save your money. That's my best advice. Put it towards something cool like the Aerosoft CRJ. Max, good afternoon to you, welcome. So we're obviously on our way to the Macco Simulations Birmingham Airport, and they're actually, so a couple of people mentioned yesterday on a group flight that there's not been an update for a few days for the Birmingham scenery, for a few weeks actually rather, for the Birmingham scenery, and that's because Macco Simulations have been trying to get their Manchester Airport scenery to version 1 ready and packaged for the MSFS marketplace, which is really exciting. So a lot of effort has been diverted into getting all that ready to go. A bit of pressure from Microsoft as well, with deadlines. They want the packages for Manchester by a certain date to get it in the sim by the week after at a certain date, for example. So Macco Simulations has been working really hard. They've been trying to do Birmingham in the background as well, but they've been getting pushed by Microsoft / Asobo, and getting Manchester in a state ready to go for the marketplace. The marketplace itself is going to be slightly more expensive than buying direct, and that's because Microsoft take a 30% cut from all marketplace sales. So the marketplace version for Manchester, for example, will be slightly more expensive, but that's because that way the prices at the minute, if you go direct to Macco Simulations, are so good, they're so low, that a 30% cut would then also basically mean that he'd make a loss. So I basically advised him, along with a few others, that he should negate that 30% cut as best as possible, really. So be a slight increase for those buying the scenery on the marketplace, but if you go direct, you directly support the developer. So I really recommend going to maccosim.to instead and getting your scenery. Birmingham, that we're making our way to at the moment, is going to be updated over the next week, and we're going to check out some of the areas that are being prepped for that. So some of it's already in what we're going to see today, and some of it's been cleared ready for really exciting models and things to go in. So we'll go through it as we get there, but the fuel farm by the Echo taxiway and the car park, that's all been updated, so there's more clutter and things like that ready to go. The southeast remote stands have now got markings all in place as well. We'll have a look at those. And there's some general clutter that's been added around the airport as well to make it a little bit more lifelike. The old fire station that we all know and love, for those of us that know, for those of us that are familiar with the airport itself, that's a really detailed, quite a complex thing to build into a sim, actually, to be fair. So Macco Simulations has been working really hard at building that too, and hopefully that'll be ready to go as well. Here, Dan, yeah, 30% cut is quite a lot. They actually also charge, so this is the other thing with the SOBO and the marketplace. So we'll take independent developers like Macco Simulations, or is it Pilot Plus that makes Southend? We'll take them as an example. If they have their own website, that's all well and good. That's first-hand direct sales, which I always recommend to support the developers. If they then list it on the marketplace as a 30% cut, but also if they then list it onto, for example, Sim Market, in addition to the MSFS marketplace, Microsoft actually charged them 20% of all third-party sales, which is madness. So they want the exclusivity really, which makes sense, but again, it doesn't really help the developers too much. But yeah, 30% is pretty standard. UK 2000 were trying to say that the marketplace take 50% off them, and that's why they were trying to justify charging £20 for all of their scenery. But that was just outright lying to their customers, sadly, and I've called them out on it a number of times for them to clarify it and be truthful. But 30% is the cut Microsoft take, so there's going to be a slight increase in price for the marketplace Manchester and Birmingham sceneries, just because the price for them already, if you go direct, is so good, it's so low for what you get, that it's just going to be a little bit of an increase for people, but it's all good. Lee Fire was asking on external camera how come there's no instrument tools, so I am trying to catch up on this, guys. In the settings, somebody pointed this out in a live stream the other week, in the settings there's an option that says HUD within the display or the camera options, right down at the bottom. If you turn that to off on the external view, it gets rid of all of the speed, altitude tape and everything else. So that's how. And yeah, Air Trooper, fly-by-wires work really hard, and it's still going on as well, of course. Lots of updates. We're obviously testing the SimBrief integration, which, as you've seen so far, it's been fixed, and this is my third test of this now to make sure it's all good, and it's working very well. Just catching up on bits I might have missed in the live chat. Josh was asking about pushback programs like ones in X-Plane. So there's I use FS2 Cruise Pushback Express, as quite a few of you guys that tune in regularly know, but there's a really good one called Pushback Helper that you can download for free on flightsim.to. And as Air Trooper was asking, is the flypad working now? It turns on and you get the basic map and today's flight and the load sheet, for example, but that is all that really happens at the moment. Eventually the Pushback app that I was just talking about, Pushback Helper, will be built into the EFB and into the A32NX package, so all of these will become activated and they'll all work. So we'll be able to push back via the EFB and all sorts of really cool stuff, which will use Pushback Helper, I believe. So watch this space. There's going to be some great things coming very soon from the fly-by-wire team, in addition to some of the major bug fixes that's going on as well. Sam Jones, hello, welcome. Air Trooper, yep, I've actually ended up on the dev team for the fly-by-wire project. I've been helping them from day one on their QA team, and they've asked if I want to become part of their core dev team, which is really nice. Really excited about that, and I've seen some of the stuff coming for the A380 and it looks absolutely incredible, I've got to say. There's some absolute fantastic work going on. I can't talk about it too much, but it's really exciting. It looks fantastic what's been done so far. Of course there's a hell of a lot to be done, but yeah, watch this space. I'll be covering it as and when it comes as well. Yeah, as Darren's saying, the exposure in itself on the marketplace is kind of worth 30% in a way, and even with the slight increase in price that will happen for the marketplace purchases, it's still going to be cheaper than most others like UK 2000 for something as massive as Manchester, which is really good. Thomas, can you help me? I'm at Hamburg and want to use VATSIM. Tower's on, but it's on 11952. The radio, yeah. So use 525 in that case, Thomas. Let's see. I can't reply to you physically in the chat, I don't think. There we go. Actually, I can. There we go. 119er 525. You see, oh, that's not good. Are you using the latest dev version, or is there something else? Let me know, because I could try and mention that in my QA report or on the Discord server in our testing chat. Thomas, no problem at all. If you log into VATSIM from Hamburg and we're still live, feel free to just let me know if you've got any questions, and I'll try and answer them as best as I can, providing I'm not super busy en route. But I'll try and answer any questions you've got if you're throwing yourself into VATSIM. And you're always more than welcome to join us on a stream in the future if you want to fly along and taxi behind. Wesley, yeah, hopefully London Centre does open soon. Russ, you know what, I really like their UK 2000 Bristol scenery, I've got to say, but I think they're kind of stuck in the past a little bit. He complains that it's just one guy trying to create all these sceneries, so all he's doing is porting everything he's already made in P3D into Microsoft Flight Simulator. So it takes him about a month to do that, but yeah, pretty disappointing. You might have to try delete the A32NX folder and completely, and then download it fresh. I'll need to give Pushback Helper a go. To be fair, I use FS2 Cruise Pushback Express because I've gone and purchased it myself, but I need to give it a go. LTC Centre is online, which is great. They're the lower level bandbox, so they're potentially going to be, if they stay online, guiding us into Birmingham, which would be cool. It's fingers crossed they stay online for a little while. Peter James, do we know when we're going to get Autoland? So it's in a package at the moment that's not able to be downloaded via one of the three main options. I haven't bothered with it yet because it's still being tweaked, and I don't want to put too much pressure on the developer for that, because he's one guy creating all of the custom autopilot, all of the custom flight logic and fly-by-wire logic and everything else, so he's got a lot to do for one guy, but he's very talented. But I'll be looking at it over the next few weeks. It's probably something I would use maybe once or twice and then never use again, to be fair. I quite like the challenge of landing in difficult conditions, but it's going to be a great add-on. Hopefully it will be done very soon, and it will be able to be downloaded at some point. But again, watch this space, I guess. When it's released, I'll definitely when it's released, I'll definitely do a stream covering it, and we'll give it a go live, if I'm not already testing it at that point. Hannah uses Pushback Helper. Yeah, I really like the interface actually. I think I've seen an interface where you can, I might be completely wrong with this, I might be getting some mods confused. Is there like a top-down camera view and you can select where you want the aircraft to go? Is that Pushback Helper, or is it buttons? I'm not sure. You see, it might be the latest dev versions broke then, if that's the case. Interesting though, I've not had any issues myself. Max, stop teasing for the 380. Well, they're going to be releasing some sneaky bits over the next few weeks via their official channel, so Twitter I think, or something else, so watch that space. That's going to be cool. How do you are just buttons, so very similar then to what's in the EFB, those sort of pushback left, right, forwards. Ooh, what's that down there? That's Frankfurt. Awesome. Look at that down there. It's just absolutely incredible. The graphics on here never get boring. And Frankfurt's got approach controllers and things on it for those of you. Frustratingly, this is sod's law. Munich have come online as well. Munich Tower. Of course they have. Whoops. That went a bit far, didn't it? You see, have you got any mods, anything in your community folder that might be clashing with that TCAS issue then? Or yeah, it could be the scenery, because you were using the SimWings scenery that I had crashes on. I had to remove, so it could be that. Simon was asking how good is Sim Toolkit Pro. I haven't used Sim Toolkit Pro since about October time, if I'm honest. It was good at the time, but then a lot of things started to go wrong on it for me. So you can actually get Volanta by Orbex, which is what I use now, and it is very good. It's free of charge, logs your flights, imports your routes via SimBrief and things, and can pre-file direct to VATSIM. So definitely worth checking out Volanta. I can try and find the link for you if you want the link, and it would help. But I can really highly recommend that. You see, I'm assuming you're turning TCAS on down here when you get that update, when you get the warnings. You flicking them both across. So instead of having it on standby, flicking that one there across to all, and there we go. So the one on the right, you've got to flick across to TA or TARA. So I've just had it there. Come on, it's clear. Master caution's cleared. You've done that, right? Jacob, no problem at all. Hope to see you tune in soon. Ollie, I'm using a test branch for the A32NX to try and iron out these the fixes. For the SimBrief inputs, a lot of people have been saying that they've been getting odd issues. I had it as well with importation of SimBrief routes where you were getting waypoint mismatches, and it was skipping a lot of odd waypoints and most of the route sometimes, and causing all sorts of problems. So one of the developers has spent about over a week now actually working really hard at updating that and fixing it. Potentially something changed on the SimBrief API side of it. You see, no problem. Hopefully it gets fixed. So something may have changed on the SimBrief API side that's thrown everything out on SimBrief, so he's been working really hard at updating it and trying to find a fix. And potentially that fix has been found now. As I said earlier, this is the third test that I'm doing for this fix in 3 days, so hopefully it's certainly working really well at the moment. I've had certainly no issues, and it also includes now the ability to import coordinates, which is great for those of you who might want to fly the A320 across to New York from Heathrow, for example. Alex, oh dear. Hopefully they stay online. I wouldn't mind a bit of ATC today. It is a Sunday after all. Munich Centre's come online, but we've already left their airspace, sadly. Yeah, you see, I think it might just be EDDM. Especially if you were able to spawn at Frankfurt, I think you said, weren't you? And it was absolutely fine, so I think it might just be the Munich scenery. But give it a go, let me know how you get on. Matt's back again. Hello again. We've just about 10 minutes ago passed north of Frankfurt, so we're making some good progress. As we get a little closer as well, I'll show you guys Navigraph and things. That's a great way to do it. Every now and again, actually, I'll do it the proper way. So I'll go in and add the route myself manually via the Airways pages and things. Sometimes the SimBrief integration is great for either those of you that don't necessarily want to spend too much time on the ground. That's where it's very, very good, because it cuts about 10-15 minutes off ground time, being able to just import straight from SimBrief. Mr. Chippy, yeah, probably. Andreas asking, how do we get the vPilot chat to show? So if you've got vPilot open, at the very top you've got 5 buttons. So you click Settings, and then within that pop up Notifications, and then the 5th option says Show Incoming Text Messages in Sim. Make sure that's ticked and click Apply, and that'll fix that for you. Yeah, you see, hopefully it's all fixed. The weather's definitely a Sobo being odd. We've got to be about approaching halfway at some point soon.
Wir werden kurz mit Essen und Trinken durchgehen. Bitte überprüfen Sie das Magazin vor Ihnen für das vollständige Menü sowie unsere Duty-Free-Angebote. Vielen Dank.
If you guys got any questions about the A320, the features, or how to use certain things, then just feel free to ask. Make sure, if you haven't said hello already and you're tuning in, watching in the background, say hello in the live chat, let me know you're here. And if you are new, please do click that subscribe button down below as well, and help me smash my way through 3,000 subscribers. Hopefully we can get that done by the end of the weekend. That'd be cool. Alex, it depends where you are actually. Yeah, London have gone offline again, which is really annoying. They'll normally do that to log in somewhere else. So they'll log off one bandbox, for example, and then they'll have to set up everything to log in at another point. So It may just be that they're reconfiguring a few bits. We're going to have to look at our arrival at some point soon as well. So let's have a little look at Navigraph. I'll show you guys Navigraph. Tom, yeah. I'll let you give that a go. Eagle, awesome. Yeah, I do like having my logo for the channel on there. I do quite like that. Little personal touch. So for those of you considering Sim Toolkit Pro or Volanta, this is Volanta. And we're there. Not everybody's showing up, bizarrely. We've got BA313 behind. I can't see no one else. So it doesn't always show everybody properly. I think maybe it's because all of these need to have Volanta as well as VATSIM perhaps. And it shows you Heathrow and Gatwick approach and Manchester approach are online as well, as is Amsterdam approach, Frankfurt approach, etc. The blue boxes here show what centres are online, so West Europe and this sort of part of the world here is really, really well covered at the moment with controllers. Good grief, that's cool. But it shows you your route, and you can also zoom in. So if we go to Birmingham, for example, we can zoom on into the airport and we can see a rough outline of the taxiways and things like that, which is quite handy for those of you who haven't necessarily got ground charts ready and handy but want to see it somewhere. And it tracks your landing rate and things as well, which is quite a cool feature. Navigraph, which is what I use for the charts. Let's get rid of Munich's ground charts there. You can add a moving map, so the magenta arrow shows your location with SimLink, which is really cool. But what I want to be looking at is our arrival into Birmingham. So, what's quite handy, I'll show you guys this actually. If you hit this button here, Visual Overview, it shows you all of the options for your arrivals from depending on the runway, and you can change their runway 33 or 15 depending on the weather. And the METAR currently for Birmingham shows wind 160 at 17 knots. So it'll be runway 15, and you can see there that we're coming in via HEMEL Hempstead, so we want the HEMEL 1 Bravo arrival, which works nicely. We can go ahead and hide that. We can go into the charts and have a little look at HEMEL, and it comes in via Welling and Pufax. Frustratingly, this bit doesn't seem to work in the sim, and that's with the Navigraph data that we're using today. Not quite sure why it does it, but it goes pretty much a straight line from HEMEL up towards the Honolly VOR, so a little bit of manual positioning might be required if there's no ATC. And then we go up towards Oscott, we fly north past the airport, and we'll have to vector around without any ATC. We'll have to make our way around to then come in for runway 15 on the ILS. So from Honolly we'll be coming up here, flying north on this sort of right downwind leg, if you like, before positioning round to intercept the ILS from about 10 miles. Or 9 DME there, 2,500 foot, and then a 3-degree glide slope in. We go ahead actually as we're getting a little closer, at 250 miles to go before we're into the approach phase, and that final descent for the HEMEL arrival. We can go ahead and start putting all that into the aircraft really. So the ILS DME of 110.1, we need to make sure that goes into the RadNav page, and we can also use the VOR for Honolly 113.65 and the Birmingham NDB 406. Joshua, yep, it uses VATSIM stuff. So Volanta, you can see VATSIM IVAO, Volanta only, lots of different options. In fact, before I go ahead and put the Navigraph stuff in and get the arrivals ready, let me show you guys that. So there's a map settings tab on the right, and you can turn on IVAO users, FS Cloud, Pilot Edge. You can turn VATSIM coverage on and off. You can add all the Volanta users as well, they pop up in blue. So there's Graham there in the Lufthansa ahead of us. And you can load nav data as well, so you can actually put in nav data. Whoa, there we go. That's 1908, cycle 1908, which is actually not correct. We don't want that. But there is a way to update that within the settings. And it all comes in VATSIM brief, I believe that. Very cool. So, there's Birmingham. And we want to look at our arrival. So, into BHX, arrival, ILS runway 15. And we want the HEMEL 1 Bravo arrival. And this is where the sim goes a bit odd, because you'll see this update in a second when we select a via. It will say via BHX, and it probably remove well-in. We don't want that. Or it will go to well-in and ignore PUFAX. You can see that it goes direct to the airport. Nothing we can do about that, annoyingly, except for self-vector. Into the RadNav page, and you can see it doesn't auto-import on a lot of custom airports. It doesn't automatically import the ILS frequency for us, but we've got it on the charts, so we know the ILS for 15 is 110.1. We can put that in. The course is 146, but it won't let us actually put that in just yet. And that's not correct, that's because it's picking up an airport nearby. VOR 1 is Honolulu 113.65. And the NDB for Birmingham 406 into ADF2. And we can go ahead and activate those by flicking the switches here. So VOR 1, flick that to VOR, and for the second one we can flick ADF2, we can activate that. And then we get the things pop up here on the nav display. But we only need to worry about that as we get a little closer. And the VOR MTD will update eventually to Honolulu once we get close enough and it picks it up. We'll need to add everything into the approach page as well, and the charts can be used for that in absence of ATC. Let's have a little look. Gatwick approach and everywhere, well, that's all coming online. So we can go ahead and just use the METAR data that we've got at the moment, and the charts tell us that the transition altitude is 6,000. Weather-wise, QNH is 1019. Temperature is plus 3 degrees Celsius, and the wind was 160 at 17. We'll check this as we get closer and make sure we've got up-to-date and accurate information in here. Decision heights then. So Category 2, Category 3 ILS you want DH, and Category 1 or anything else you want MDA. The sim, it's very hard to tell sometimes what the sim is going to select, whether it's going to choose Cat A single, Cat 2, Cat 3 single, sorry, yeah, things like that. So I tend to just pick one, because at the moment there doesn't seem to be much logic in the way the sim handles this part of the flight. So today I'm going to select a Category 2 ILS, and we're a Category C aeroplane, so we need a runway visual range of 300 meters. I'll show you guys the charts here. So looking at the bottom of the plate here, Category C, ILS, Cat 2, RVR of 300 meters, and being a Category C aircraft, we want a DH of 100 or an MDA of 403. But category 2, we'll just go with 100 DH today. Josh, no problem at all, thank you for tuning in. Tom, so I'm just catching up on the live chat here. I've only got 2 screens. Bravo, the flight bag crashing issue, has it been fixed? Not just yet. I've never had any problems with it, bizarrely. I've had it on the whole time. I had it on for a test flight a little while ago as well, 4 hours to Samos. Had absolutely no problems. There's an issue with memory leak, potentially linked to something within the nav display or something else. They're still investigating, but they're getting closer. There's something causing coherent draw and performance degradation. Tom was asking if enter the ILS into the approach phase and the FMC doesn't enter the frequencies automatically. Sometimes it does, sometimes the sim just doesn't put it in. So you have to always religiously, you should check it anyway. I've had a lot of people comment saying that they were flying an ILS and it didn't follow the glide slope or pick it up. And that's because you need to check the RadNav page and make sure the frequency's gone in. Any custom scenery, even the Asobo handmade stuff at Heathrow for example, sometimes the frequency doesn't go in, so do check it against the charts. As Sagosh was saying, yeah, it does sometimes, not always. The transition altitudes, Mr. Chippy, are on the charts. So if in doubt, I'll show you it actually to show you where it is. On the top of the approach plates, you normally see there it says transition altitude. So in absence of any ATIS information that tells you otherwise, I just put in that. So it'll be flight level 60 or 6,000 feet will go on to the local pressure. If that helps. Hanu's got the vanilla Birmingham. Yeah, so the autogen stuff, they tend to go in quite naturally without bugging out, but any add-on scenery, pretty much 80% of them has sometimes the sim just doesn't take the frequency and put it in when you select your approach. It's not fault of the scenery itself, it's just the way that the sim handles custom add-ons at the moment. It's bizarre. But always check, because it shouldn't be down to the aircraft to put it in. You should always check to make sure it's gone incorrect. Sometimes the sim will put a frequency in and it'll actually be incorrect, it'll be wrong. So Amsterdam is one of those at the moment, where some of the frequencies are actually for another runway. Matt's is asking, where can you see the ILS code? So on the charts again, on the very top left you'll have the lock frequency for the ILS plates. So lock, and it's a 4-letter code of IBIR, and it's 110.1. You can then see that usually in the middle of the chart somewhere, and in this case you can see it here, ILS DME, course of 146, and frequency of 110.1 IBIR, and then there's a Morse underneath it as well, which is basically the signal it sends to the aircraft. Tom, yeah, you need to get yourself some custom airports. They're great. The Macco Simulations Manchester and Birmingham are really good. Probably my favourite ones in the sim at the moment. And Gaia Vienna as well is really good. 240 miles to go. Let's have a quick look at the star. So at HEMEL, we want to be at flight level 220. Kai, when you go onto Unicom frequency, it gets stuck on that frequency and can't go to another. I'm not sure. Do you mean in here? It should be absolutely working fine. Tom, potentially actually, you might be able to. I'd imagine there would probably be some way that you'll be able to tune it in here and pick it up. Not quite sure how that would work in the sim though, I've not tried it. Voita, hello. No, the nav screen doesn't show top of descent just yet. Sometimes it does, but it's inaccurate at times. VNav is still being worked on, and that'll include top of descent calculator. Once it comes, I'll be covering it in the streams at that point as well, along with a working flight plan manager and stuff as well. So Kai, what you can try and do, if you find vPilot sticks for any reason or the frequencies go wrong, you can type in the chat box the frequency after like .com1 for example. So the format that I'm putting into the live chat at the moment, I'm just typing it in there. You can type that into the chat line on vPilot and it will force the frequency to change. So give that a go. London Centre's come online, as Wesley's just pointed out. William, nice. Oh, good grief, overhauling some scenery. Fingers crossed for no crash to desktops then. So we wanted to be at flight level 220, level by HEMEL. So we need a 3-degree glide slope. We want a vertical speed of 1,500 foot per minute from 36,000 foot that we're at now using my top of descent calculator, and we want 45 nautical miles to achieve that with a 10-minute descent. And the link is in the description for anybody who wants it. Oh, Alex, that's a great shout actually. Kai, yeah, yeah, make sure you have tried that actually. Make sure you've got AI, all your AI, co-pilot, managing comms, etc. switched off. So vPilot messages in MSFS, so that's the pop-ups on the screen. All you've got to do on vPilot is click Settings, Notifications, and make sure the very last option, Incoming Text Messages in Simulator, is ticked, and then you're good to go. EBUB, brilliant. So Brussels Centre's offline. 1358. Brussels Centre is online, sorry. But 1311. Here we go, ATC time. Inbound DENUT flight level 360. Brussels Centre, hello, Lufthansa 2508, flight level 360, inbound DENUT.
Lufthansa 2508, Brussels Control, good afternoon, set squawk 7153.
Set squawk 7153, Lufthansa 2508.
Lufthansa 3 Lima X-ray, continue descent, flight level 230, level to warp, correction level pays off.
At level 230, by pays off, Lufthansa 3 Lima X-ray.
I thought that wasn't us. Jaguar, so you can type in, if you're using vPilot, you can type in quite simply .METAR and then the airport code, and it will give you the weather.
United 78 Brussels, hello, identified, continue climb flight level 370, caution traffic at your 6 o'clock, 2 miles, at flight level 250, climbing not on frequency.
Lamborn in 150.
Lufthansa 2508, just to confirm it's squawk 7153.
Apologies, squawk 7153 Lufthansa 2508.
Eurowings 2 Papa Mike, climb flight level 370.
I thought that was wrong.
Climb flight level
Tom out. They're fine, honestly.
Eurowings 5 Hotel Whiskey, climb flight level 350.
As long as you put in that you're new to VATSIM and it's your first or second go or something, they look after you.
Air France 745, descending flight level 330 inbound, India, Delta Oscar Sierra.
Air France 745, bonsoir, identified, continue descent, flight level 260.
Descent flight level 260, continue Air France 745, sorry.
Good afternoon, Brussels, Speedbird 313.
So gosh, it's one of those, you get used to it fairly quickly. That's why I've created a lot of tutorials, just to try and help people out. I found it quite nerve-wracking when I first started, but you get used to it very quickly.
35 Charlie Delta, further climbers on Unicom 122.8, have a good day.
It's all good. Let's get constraints on. HEMEL in 130.
Alpine 86 Papa Victor,
24.
contact people approach 121.2,
44.
bye-bye.
Actually, the nav data is correct today. If we're going in via Welling and Buzzard, perfect. That didn't happen last time. That must have been the update to the Navigraph nav data.
2510, no further ATC, switch to Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
In a second, we're going to be on to London Centre.
Brussels, good day.
135.8 once we start descending at least.
LTU 7180, hello sir, set squawk 7133.
We'll probably be handed to Unicom first because LTC Centre do lower level bandbox.
Good evening, Brussels, UPS 429 inbound Conan at flight level 260, climb 350.
UPS 429 Brussels, hello identified, stop climb flight level 290.
Stop climb 290, UPS 429.
United 78 confirmed climbing flight level 370.
Roger 78, just trying to gain some speed
Peter,
here.
yeah, they can sometimes, but if you put in that you're new on VATSIM, they tend to talk a bit slower for you.
Traffic is now at your 12 o'clock, 1 mile,
Quite nice.
climbing 1,000 feet below your clear level.
Roger 78, we have the traffic inside. If you want him to go ahead and climb before us, you can do that.
Tom, that's understandable. Especially in Microsoft Flight Simulator when there are quite a few issues at times. Having the confidence is one of the big things.
What is your requested alt flight level 33 or 350?
Once you've done it a few times though, then you'll be absolutely fine.
Iberia 3271, roger, maintain 34, expect 330.
Zephyr, no I'm not. It's still very much a work in progress. I don't want to put too much pressure on the developer for that, because it's one guy building all of that, so I'll be checking it out soon.
Switch to Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
Ian, good afternoon. There's Lambourne, there's HEMEL in 130. So soon we'll be looking at descent. I love the new glass reflections.
You're just about to leave my airspace now. You can switch over to Unicom again 122.8 and enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon.
Thank you very much, bye-bye.
United 78, fly heading 105.
Kai, exactly that. Once you've started on VATSIM, you've done it a few times, you'll be absolutely hooked forever.
Thank you.
The quality of the controllers is exceptionally good as well. They have to go through a lot of training to be approved, even just to do ground, and then they have to work through each phase. So they'll have to do a certain amount of hours on ground before they can go onto tower, for example, so on and so forth. And it's actually really difficult to become a VATSIM controller. But because it's so difficult, you get fantastic ATC on the network. And if you wanted to get started, be sure to go and check out my tutorials on the playlists tab. And anyone with any questions, I'm always more than happy to answer and try and help. Aviation Simulation, hello, welcome. Hope you're well. Yeah, basically, the centre controllers will have been on VATSIM, controlling traffic at various levels for probably about 4 years or so before they can even try and end up as a controller for a centre band box. And they are exceptionally good. So gosh, nothing's in it for them.
Luxembourg approach is on my contact them 120.875.
They just prefer to control traffic with a radar instead of fly in a sim. Thomas, yeah. Beside the new coffee cup, is there anything coming in the custom fly-by-wire build? Eventually, VNAV and things like that, but it's all still work in progress. It's just whenever it gets to that level where it's ready.
Cargo 2117, I will set squawk 7156.
The coffee cup bizarrely reduces frames by 1 frame per second apparently.
Switch to Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
Switching to Unicom 122.8, chilling up and choose.
And as Pete's saying, yep, some are real world ATC.
GPS 429, climb flight level 340.
Climb level 340, GPS 129.
Egypt Air Cargo 2117, identified, climb flight level 240.
I mean, for an example, for VATSIM UK, I've waited 6 months to just become, just to start the training for ground controller. And I've had 4 sessions in a month now.
United 78, level of flight
and I've got maybe a couple more before I sit an exam, and then I'm allowed to do ground controller.
Direct 0, Papa India, resume navigation at flight level 250.
Macco Simulations is in the house, hello, welcome.
GPS 429, will be fine, hello.
Not too far now, and we'll be into Birmingham. Ready Mills, yeah, that's a great one.
Good afternoon, EC35.
Also, VATSIM UK, more specifically UK, but you can go onto this the VATSIM website.
Good afternoon, identified, line flight level 310.
Or VATSIM UK, sorry, let me just get a link as an example. You can go into these, and each airport will have its own tab. Check the live chat, guys, and that will show you what stands are currently vacant, and if they're in use, they're highlighted in red.
7180 direct to Gross Tonkin, Golf Tango, Quebec.
Barry, hello, welcome, nice. I'm a Midlander myself, moved out years ago though, down to the south. Kai,
direct to Gross Tonkin, Golf Tango, Quebec.
I'm currently training at East Midlands with simulated traffic, but once I pass, I'll probably go to Birmingham.
German Cargo 482 direct to DENUT, when ready, descend flight level 170, level
BHX, no problem at all, thank you very much.
When ready, direct DENUT and descend flight level 170.
Yeah, someone was asking actually, sorry, where is it? Should I start in busy airspace?
Now and when ready, descend flight level 170.
I would probably recommend not starting somewhere really busy. If you can find an airport like Bristol, Birmingham or Manchester that's got one airport, just a few departures or arrival routes, then I recommend doing that instead. It just eases you into using VATSIM.
Here is easy 1158 with you.
122.8 for Lufthansa 2508, thank you, bye.
2.8.
It was blocked again.
Lufthansa 2508.
Yes, thank you, Unicom for Lufthansa 2508, thank you very much, bye.
Have a good day. And top is 1355, what are you calling it?
Flight level 180, speed 26
HEMEL's there. Flight level 220 by that. So 45 miles is in the memory banks. That's going to be around Unsad Nilon. We want to start a
869 Romeo Charlie
steep descent there.
80.
I'm just listening to London Centre,
Flight level 80,
because they're going to be below us. Bristol Tower is online for anybody that might want to start somewhere easy for the first ever flight. You could do, for example, Bristol to Edinburgh.
London, good afternoon. Tomjet 35 November Juliet, flight level 80. Correction 70.
Tomjet 35 November Juliet, London Control, higher, climb now, flight level 170.
Flight level 170, Tomjet 35 November Juliet.
Speedbird 480, climb, flight level 170.
Yeah, I definitely recommend going to smaller airports first. For example, when I pass, if I pass my controller training for ground, what I intend to do is set a schedule maybe once a month, and I'll be looking to log in as a ground controller for a bit, so anybody that wants to get started on VATSIM and they want a familiar voice to help them out, then I'll be there on the ground controller frequency to try and get you started basically and give you that confidence. And if you've got any mistakes on the flight plan, then I can then directly help and work to fix it with you, if that sounds good to you guys. But if you can start at small airports, there's very few taxiways to worry about. There's only one runway, and there's only a very small amount of departures and things like that. So I really recommend Gatwick, for example, is exceptionally busy, and VATSIM themselves say that they don't recommend starting at a big airport like Gatwick or Heathrow, because you want to get used to how to use VATSIM itself live, I guess.
Director, goodbye, thank you.
UC, yes it is. He's LTC though, so he's
descending 140 inbound Kuna.
He's 101 London Control, high descent, flight level 90.
Flight level 90, estimated arrival route, Kuna 1 Golf.
London Control, good afternoon. Speedbird 25 Mike is in about A32NX Neo. Up London City, stunt number 5, requesting clearance to Malaga.
25 Mike, hello, London Control, third Malaga, Compton, 1 hotel departure, runway 09, squawk 7256.
Those of you who want to have a look at different sectors for VATSIM UK, you can find here. On the live chat, I've got the link there for you, and you can basically see what is being controlled by whom.
25 Mike, correct.
LTC Centre is covering us at Birmingham, I think.
Station call and make sure your mic is muted, all I hear is static. Tomjet 35 November Juliet, turn left heading 170 degrees.
Actually,
level 170.
LTC Centre.
170, climb 170 for Tomjet 35 November Juliet. London 380, flight level 115.
Show about 380.
No, they don't. That's disappointing.
Fly heading 055, descend flight level 90.
I think.
Mike Lima, Unicom 122.8, right?
Thanks, Ben. Unicom 122.8.
So yeah. 2480, course and traffic, same level, same route, Unicom 122.8, bye.
Unicom 122.8.
I don't think he's controlling us, which will be a massive shame. Oh yeah, there we go, as UC's saying, he's not controlling us. Real disappointing.
Stupid 12 Juliet, 10 left heading 260 degrees.
Left to 60, 12 Juliet.
Stupid 26 Delta Hotel, Unicom 122.8, bye.
122.8, Stupid 26 Delta Hotel.
Simon, there you go, that's the perfect route I think. It's one of those routes I'd probably really recommend if you wanted to start off on VATSIM. Something like Bristol to Edinburgh or the other way around. Nice, simple, easy sort of routes. Or you could do something like Edinburgh to Jersey, for example. Just ease yourself in, because the biggest thing is getting your clearance, making sure your flight plan is right, and you get used to maybe changing your flight plan if there's some things that might be wrong with it. Without the stress or pressure of a really busy frequency with a whole lot of aeroplanes trying to also get in. Because the biggest thing really is not taking up too much time on the radio. Sometimes VATSIM will cover, they'll do first wings sessions, so it'll be pretty much for the very first few flights on VATSIM. If the dates fit, you might be able to jump onto one of those sessions, and it will be fully staffed with controllers, and they'll all be there to help you get started. So they'll help fix any problems or give you advice, and basically help you get your first couple of flights done on the network, which is really good.
Hello, London Control, Roger.
Flight level 90 by Honolulu.
Heathrow director, 1 minute after disregard.
He's playing Bo Peep with you, huh?
Ah, yes. Shamrock 380 descends to altitude 3000 feet, Heathrow QNH 1024.
That's 3000, 1024, Shamrock 380.
London Control, Speedbird 1403, flight level 190 on the Honolulu 1H arrival.
Speedbird 1403, London Control, Roger, descend flight level 150.
Descend 150, Speedbird 1403.
Shamrock 380, turn right, heading 225.
Right, 225, Shamrock 380.
London Control, good day, Lufthansa 5 Hotel Victor, flight level 180, descending 160.
Lufthansa 5 Hotel Victor, London Control, Roger. Shamrock 380, contact Heathrow director 119.725. 212 Juliet, contact Heathrow 119.725, bye.
9725, bye.
See ya. BG 101, contact Gattis 126.825, see you later.
126.8.
Into the cloud. Let's get the seatbelt signs on shortly, shall we? Just in case. Yeah, that's the other thing as well. There might be a runway change as you're making your way in. And the busy airports like Gatwick, the most holds I've ever done on the network have all been into Gatwick Airport. So it can get really tricky sometimes if you're trying to get started on the network. It's your first couple of flights ever. You're still trying to make your way around the aircraft itself with the systems, and then all of a sudden you get asked to fly a manual hold. It can just get quite overwhelming. So sometimes it's enough to put people off the network, which is why I really recommend starting somewhere like Edinburgh and just ease your way in. Once you get a little confident with it, you can maybe go to Manchester. That's another training base for VATSIM for a lot of controllers. So again, they're learning and you're learning, so that works out quite nicely too. And then maybe after 3 or 4 flights, give Gatwick a go. Gatwick is so busy that the standard ground controllers for VATSIM can't log in or work there unless they've got a particular additional rating, and they can only get that after a certain amount of hours as a ground controller on VATSIM. So it's very intense, quite generally anyway at Gatwick on VATSIM. It's always very busy. I think it's one of their busiest airports on the entire network. I think I read somewhere once. So not one I'd recommend starting off at. I know some people have given it a go before, straight into Gatwick, and they've said to me that it's put them off. And I'm all about trying to get people confident. So HEMEL 1 Bravo, let's have a little look at the arrival again for you guys. We're targeting HEMEL at the moment, flight level 220, which is just passing London Luton, and then we'll be descending to Welling, and then up to the Honolulu VOR, targeting flight level 90. At that point, we're then going to try and go direct to Oscott. That doesn't exist. We'll have to add that actually as a waypoint physically, but I'll probably just vector around at that point because there's no ATC, and position ourselves for the arrival ILS runway 15. Nice and easy. If you guys want to see the approach plates again, let me know. I can put those in. Kai, oceanic clearance, that's a whole other ball game. That is you getting your clearance to fly across the Atlantic. HEMEL in how many miles? 40. So then, let me make sure I've got our approach data in correctly, and it was 160 at 17, light rain, broken cloud at 1300, QNH 1018 now. Temperature still 3 degrees. So that's all up to date, and there's our approach speed of 126 knots. It's picking up the Honolulu VOR now, we can see that, and the BHX NDB. So VOR 1, ADF 2, and there it is tracking those. So we've got 93 miles to to Honolulu. As we head into the cloud. What I might do actually is put icing on, because the sim tends to throw weird icing bugs up sometimes. Graham's in. Believe in Pufax vectoring round to the right of the airfield over Tamworth. Of course you are. Yeah, Kai, so if you're for flights going to Reykjavik, technically you need to have oceanic clearance. So you have to follow their oceanic protocols via Shanwick if they're online. Same with Reykjavik to the UK as well, you'll have to get oceanic clearance there. So if Reykjavik Centre are online, who control the oceanic side all around Iceland, then you need to contact them on the ground before you depart, because you'll be going straight into your oceanic if you're leaving Iceland. I'll be looking to do a tutorial for that very soon as well, so keep an eye out for that. Ian, yeah, you're always, as you know, welcome to join us on these trips. Through the cloud. Constraints are on, and the QNH, what was that? 1018. Biggest tip: change that whilst you're descending. Mats, I've actually got some head tracking, but I find it's quite clunky at times, so I tend to not use it anymore. I found that I would keep my head still, and then it would jitter and jolt anyway. But then I was using the Android app head controller using my phone camera, so perhaps that was a problem. Just Angle, hello, welcome to you. Just wow, most of the way through the descent now actually into Birmingham. Seatbelt signs are on. So we're going to have a little look at some of the prep work that's been done for the update for Birmingham coming over the next week or so from Macco Simulations. So we're going to potentially go past the fire station. If not, we'll... there's an aeroplane down there. That's cool. If not, we'll use the drone cam and go and have a look. Eventually as well, the main terminal land side are going to be added. The fire station is going to be updated with that quite iconic building, and also stand numbers, posts, and things like that will be ready as well, and some power supplies at gates. Mr. Chippy, yes, that's basically the aircraft doing the cabin ready procedure. Just Angle, the EFB is released, it's in the development version at the moment, so the development or the experimental versions that you can use via the installer. Finbar, nice, thank you very much. So here we go. Sadly, this hasn't updated. But I'm not going to fiddle with the EFB too much because it can be a little unstable, and you can see how the sim gets the nav data wrong for the arrival, because it's still, even though Asobo thinks they've fixed the Novayas, the sim forces a Novaya still, so that shows they don't really know what they're doing. And via Welling, it's missing a couple of waypoints, so we'll manually fly that. We'll leave Welling heading 282 direct to Honolulu, which is kind of about where my cursor is now. We'll have to try and track that if we can. Every now and again we'll have to flick onto the VOR tab and look at the white needle. Peter James, I keep up to date with Macco Simulations, chat to the developers regularly. So he got this this sort of package ready to show on my stream today, just so I could explain to people that there is an update coming and what to look forward to, basically. So it's a very proactive developer. He's here somewhere in the chat, so if anybody's got any questions for Macco Simulations, if he's still around, then fire away in the live chat and I'm sure he can answer away for things. But he's been very busy lately because he's been getting Manchester Airport ready to get fired onto the in-sim marketplace, which is really exciting. Abdul, hello to you, welcome. Just angle, yep, that's the reason why I haven't bothered with the A321 from PMP. It's just not, unless it can use the A32NX properly, I'm not really interested in it, I'm afraid, because it's, why would you go back to something so default when you've got something like this that's really advanced? It doesn't seem to make much sense to me. There's Macco Simulations. So anybody with questions, far away. Through the cloud. The sounds have definitely changed recently for exterior. They feel like they're a lot louder. Quick check on vPilot. Yeah, damn. No ATC. Disappointing for a Sunday, got to say. 50 miles till Honolulu. We can start to slow the aeroplane down a little bit, I think. We'll target 240 knots. Yeah, I think it's odd. The sounds before, as you got further away, the sounds seemed to reduce in volume, which is what I used to use for drone cam during the cruise. A lot of you guys might remember. But for some reason, lately, no matter how far away I move the drone cam exterior, the sounds stay extremely loud. So a little frustrating. Hence why I've accidentally deafened you guys twice today. As Pretender's saying, they are a lot more realistic. I love the APU sounds. There's been some incredibly good work there. Well, it's very true. It is Valentine's Day, and I wasn't meant to be streaming today, but the missus is at work, so I've got a couple of hours where I can squeeze this one sector in for you guys. Those of you who haven't already, if you are watching and you're new, click subscribe down below. And please give us a little thumbs up, give us a like as well, let me know you're enjoying today's stream. And that helps influence what content I bring in the future as well. Peter James thinks Macco Sims are waiting for MSF Update 3 before releasing out any updates. Possibly. He's in the chat, so I'm sure he can mention a few bits. We can keep an eye out for Manchester in the marketplace soon. That's going to be great. and then Birmingham eventually will follow as well once it's up towards version 1. There's Welling. What I'm going to do actually, I'm going to put VOR on as a tab because it should, he says, load up Honolulu VOR here somewhere. I don't think it's going to though. So we're going to head towards the White Needle in a second. Is that roughly the same direction? It might actually be. Graham, yeah, clouds are amazing. Slight pixelation for me, but I love these towering cumulonimbus clouds. And this is MSFS live weather, folks. We're not using Unreal Weather anymore lately. Okay, let's get the nose down a bit more. 1400 foot per minute. Barry, yes, you can. Thomas, no problem at all. I'm very keen not to be one of those YouTubers that just do a stream and think about adverts. I want to be quite proactive in helping people out on the network. There's the Honolulu VOR. Took a little while to feed in. DTY's Daventry. So instead of using VOR mode and tracking the the white arrow, which we can see Honolulu there actually. I could do that actually. We can actually just fly direct there. Let's track it in VOR mode. We'll go heading track mode. Click that. We need to overfly Welling first. 3 miles. Mr. Smudgy, good afternoon. And we should be in approach phase. So let's activate that. We'll go down to green dot, and now we're going to turn towards Honolulu. The green flashing light on the nav display, guys, is the direction to Birmingham Airport, because I've tuned ADF2, which is at Birmingham NDB. Matt's here. Now I'm flying manually tracking the VOR to Honolulu using track FPA mode. Remember, actually, we need to have flight director off. Love some of these features on the aeroplane, it's great. Makes it a little challenging. Matt, oh yeah, so the approach itself will be ILS. So we'll be flying a ILS approach, but we're tracking the Honolulu VOR at the moment because we're going to fly beyond the Honolulu VOR. 267 degrees out towards Oscott. But before we get there, we're going to actually turn north. We're heading a 330 degrees to fly over Birmingham, basically 7,000 feet. .220 knots, we've got ground spoilers armed, auto brake low, we've got anti-icing switched on. That's all looking good. We go flaps 1 once we start to go downwind, I think, so we've still got a little while to go, maybe 10 minutes. And every now and again I always check vPilot to see if anybody's come online. So because of the wind, we've got a 44 knot crosswind. Oops. We're flying towards Honolulu, which is there. You can see our track is the blue diamond, the green diamond, sorry, with the blue arrow, which is our track selected. But our nose is facing where the white, the yellow line is. So slightly offset. Aquavitale, no, you can leave flight director on. and you get all of that stuff, but it's just recommended that you should have it off for the track FPA, especially if you're flying it manually, because that gives you a bit of a better indication for what the aircraft is doing. Otherwise you get that, you can see where the flight director's bugging out a little bit. Let's hold 9,000 actually. Alex, have confidence, you'll be fine. There we go, somebody was saying that they were flying into Reykjavik. There was a supervisor's message. There's a S3 rating in Keflavik between now and 17 Zulu. So especially if you're doing circle to land procedures, there's an aeroplane up there, not sure who that is. This is where TCAS would be really handy for us. If we were flying that circle to land procedure, for example, that I've done a lot of tutorials for, we always have to make sure, if we're in track FPA, the flight director's off. Or we can fly a heading. If we fly a heading though, we need to remember to take into account the wind. Who's that there? That's a BA flight. Chambéry is a great approach. I've got a tutorial going live for that very soon actually, on how to do that. I try and do my tutorials in one take, so if I get it slightly wrong, I still put that into the tutorial. To show that because it's not easy, and I can do it 6 or 7 times, so it's not the same as me just giving it a go like everyone else. So green dot at 205. I'm hoping they're doing 220 plus, otherwise we might have a problem. Coming up to Honolulu now. We'll hold 9,000 until we pass Honolulu because it's a at flight level rather than at or above. Yeah, the Samos circle to land is probably one of my favourite ones. So if you guys want a challenging approach with a circle to land, then I'd really recommend that. Bit of turbulence, and you know what I've forgotten? We're only at 9,000 thankfully. Landing lights. Maybe cabin crew all call? I'm sure I've already clicked it. Good stuff. Buttered that bread. Channel members have now got a butter emoji as well. So fingers crossed that gets used again in a bit if I land it nicely. There's 2 aircraft there. Good grief, this is going to get busy. Oh man. And there's the silly Asobo ice. So I knew it would appear at some point. Peter, yeah, too close to terrain. It is very close, to be fair. 2.7 is quite a good option. You're over the water, but it is still quite full on. Failing that, Skiathos. That's a beautiful approach. Great freeware scenery available as well for Skiathos as well. Mr. Chippy, when I get butter, it's usually crunchy peanut butter. Great choice though. Love a bit of crunchy peanut butter. Smooth peanut butter's better though. And Matt's Smug Trump. Not sure why he's there. He just thought it was funny. I'm still open to change a lot of the emojis for channel members, so a lot of the Discord style ones I'm quite happy to change, but I need to figure out what to change them for. There's that aeroplane. Passing Honolulu in 5 miles. and then we want to step down to 7,000. We can track airport. Again, it might need a few minutes. Eventually a little BHX thing will pop up. Exactly. So you can see how the sim tries to get us to go over Birmingham, but that's actually not correct. So we're flying Honolulu, which is here at the moment. Good grief. And then we're going to have to fly, manually vector ourselves, fly north 330, flying basically a downwind leg, descending down to meet the ILS. Not sure where all them flashy lights have gone. There they go. Make flight sim great again. Brilliant. So he's going off on that downwind now. That's good. We're going to continue for about a minute in this direction, just to give us that wider turn. Effectively, we're doing a bit of an IFR circuit, really. And ordinarily for that you'd be given vectors. That's Oslo London South Centre's online. That's disappointing. We want London Sea Centre for Birmingham. The Munich scenery is it's on flightsim.to. Wow, that cloud popped around the windscreen and that looked awesome. It was on flightsim.to, I think. There's a Discord server for it which has since broken, but the developer actually sent it to me, and it uses 5 different sceneries, payware sceneries from across the sim, or 3 payware sceneries, sorry, and 2 freeware sceneries, and it pulls bits out of those to go into Munich. So it's a really good little community mod for those. Whilst we wait for Gaia Munich, which would be really good, let's turn 330. Let's step down to 5,000. Hello, it could be. There's 2 aircraft. There's a BA aircraft that I've seen, and there's one other. That's interesting. Why has it done that? That's very peculiar. Oh well. Bit of rain. I'm actually going to have to use a bit of speed brake, I think, to slow down, because of that speed boost might bring us too close to whoever that is there. It's so frustrating when the sim does weird things. 47 knot crosswind, so you can see I've selected this as a heading, but we're going that way. So actually, let's go 320, and that drift should give us 330-ish for track. We don't want to get too close to the airfield. So frustrating when the sim does weird things like that. Birmingham traffic, Lufthansa 2508 via Honolulu, now downwind, right downwind, ILS runway 15. We'll report on finals. I think we're about 3 ahead, or 3 behind, sorry. We've got 3 or 4 aircraft behind us. If we go flaps 1 now... No. Wow, what is it doing? It seems to have put itself out of approach mode. Which is really bizarre. Oh, I know why. It's going back to HEMEL. I'm going to click CF15 with a direct to. We need to go to local pressure, 3,000 feet. And I'm wondering if that might fix it. Do I dare? Yeah, let's. Yeah, there we go. The Sims nav stuff just got a little confused. Peter James, yeah, I was using track FPA for that Honolulu bit, but I was sort of just demonstrating there, tracking, just adjusting the wind using heading mode with like an offset heading, if you like. Let's rearm the spoilers. We might have to see if that has to be reactivated again. We've got 11 miles to go. Let's fly. Birmingham traffic, Lufthansa 2508, turning right base for the ILS runway 15.
Birmingham traffic, ILS runway 15 established. Speedbird 313.
Awesome. So I'm just self-vectoring here. We should be able to see him over there somewhere. There's a couple of aircraft. And that should give us good if we go for 110. Chanix 1322, nice. No China in my sim, yeah. Lock mode, we're losing that ILS slightly, so I'll just arm the lock mode whilst we descend. I might go to 3000 actually, just level off here. Flaps 2. Go away. And always make sure your heading bug gets realigned. You can see on the nav display at the bottom of your screen. Try and get it aligned with the runway heading. So if you have to go around, it's sort of all pre-selected ready for you. Birmingham traffic, Lufthansa 2508, 11 miles finals established. Number 2, I believe, ILS runway 15. That's I haven't actually. I find there's a lot more bugs with it than I want to sort of have in a setup for joystick and things. So I think I'll probably leave it for a little while until it gets fixed. Pretty sure the last time we flew into Birmingham in the sim, the weather was this miserable then as well. But hey ho. Slight overshoot of the intercept there with the manual vectors, but all good. I can't see any other lights around us. What's going on there? That's weird. The wind seems to have killed itself, and the ground speed seems to have disappeared off to just 100. Oh, and now it's recalibrated itself. That was it. That was a little odd. 8 miles. Flaps 3. Let's go to the cool view. Go down. Birmingham down below. Down there is going to be the runway. but we're obviously crabbing quite significantly into wind here. 8 miles. On the glide slope. Have we got track FPA on? I can't remember. Yes, so let's go back into heading mode. For the flight director. And Peter James, yeah, autoland would be great at this point. Cat 3 ILS though, so we're using the rad out with a decision height of 100. There's an aircraft transiting over Birmingham overhead. John, yeah, that's it. Midlanders, it's still t-shirt weather and full flaps.
Midland, traffic, German 774 Charlie, taxi to runway 09.
There's a miserable view for you to welcome you back from your holidays.
Birmingham traffic, speedbird 313, runway vacated.
Awesome. God, this is absolutely chucking it down, isn't it? This is great. I love the sim when it's like this. On the localizer quite nicely there, passing 2000. Ecam memo's no blue. That wind has disappeared off again bizarrely, but pretty sure it was a variable crosswind when it was last on, and we want constraints on as well. There we go, that's disappeared. Let's select VOR then. That is a really specific foot per minute. I'll give it a go. Anything between 100 and 400 is good. I'm trying to judge when to turn these off. I might leave them on because of the way the sim is. Although the icing's gone. Turn it off. There we go. More performance. 4 miles. Bang on the ILS. There's the runway. 33 knot headwind at the moment, with a slight 5-10 degree crosswind component for us. So we are still crabbing into wind somewhat. You can see how much we're crabbing actually there. Green diamond's where we're going, yellow line is where the nose is pointing. Flight director, track FPA, let's just do it manually. 1,000 foot. Oh, and here comes the turbulent wind, brilliant. Ooh, that was a bit of a gust. You could sort of see the aircraft get pushed sideways as this weather's changing a little bit, losing the glide slope a little tad. God, that weather's just dropped straight in again. Barely see the runway. Now I'm looking at the nav display instead of the actual runway. I'm trying to track the actual ILS using the PFD. And there we go, that's better. Wow. What happened there? I'm not sure what's going on. Lufthansa 2508, Birmingham going around, unstable approach. Wow, what happened there?
German cargo 75 Charlie, line up and take off runway 09.
Go around, slap retract, 185 on the chart. this is where we find that it's all braking. So we've shot over 3,000. I'm just letting it. I'm just sort of seeing what it's doing at the moment. Oh, hello. That wasn't nice. This is trying to kill me now. If it bugs out, fly it yourself. I'm going to disable auto throttle as well. Oh, it's my controls. That's bizarre. Look how violent that's just got. Good grief. Trying to kill me. Right, we're back. Let's just turn right. We'll give this another go. Right, so there's a problem with my flight controls because as we were flying in on the approach then, I don't know if you could see, but all of the flight controls started going absolutely mad. But we'll give it another go in a second. Let's get icing and things on just in case. Bizarrely, the aircraft doesn't want to turn. There we go. Let's get down to 3,000 again. What I might do is I'll leave autopilot on until last minute. We're at Honolulu now anyway. Hello, good grief, 50% thrust for you to move on the ground. That is bizarre. I'm just going to target that green dot speed again, and I'm going to reactivate approach phase. So in goes that data. Tom Russell, yeah, switch the Xbox controller. Might have to. This is where I wish I had one. That's bizarre, it got really violent. Oh well, if in doubt, go around. I certainly wasn't going to give that a go, because that got very violent for some reason. And I've not had that before. So that's bizarre. I'm hoping it's not my controls that are suddenly bugging out if something's changed in the way that the mod works. Manage speed again, that's going to hold green dot. Ian, that's it, no pressure, I've got to get this down, I've got to get the Valentine's menu started. Good grief. It'll be interesting, those of you that have flown with us today, if you're on the dev version or anything like that, let me know if you've had that same strange control issue that I've just had. I'm going to leave this on as well, just to have a look at the actual... Let's have a little go. Yeah, this is just a tease. What do you reckon? Stay on MSFS live weather, or do you reckon change to Unreal weather and see what happens? See how different it is. We're at 3,000 now. That's if I get down. Yeah, I might have to divert to Heathrow at this point. Give it a go. We'll stay on live weather. It's quite turbulent again, isn't it? Flaps 1. We'll straight into the soup. What a quote. So living on 10 miles. We've got 6.7 to go. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to descend to 2,500. Oh. I'm going to descend to 2,500 and I'm going to cut in for a shorter approach. There goes the glide slope now. So I'm going to turn at 8 miles base. Birmingham traffic, Lufthansa 2508, turning an 8 mile base to re-establish ILS runway 15. Flaps 2. UC awesome, welcome to the channel. Bronze frequent flyer. Thanks for joining. Could be the seatbelt signs causing that. Is that a bug that's come into the mod? Right, let's give this a go again. Round 2. Ding, ding, ding. I'll always give it 3 goes, and then I'll divert. So this is attempt number 2. Flaps 3, 9 mile finals. Intercepting early. We've got to do cabin check again. I'm going to try and intercept the ILS. This wind's getting absolutely horrendous again. It's a crosswind of 50 knots, 53 knots again at the moment. This is completely different to what the METAR said I should expect. And now it's going to bugger up my ILS intercept as well. Aquavitale, welcome to the channel! Okay, there we go, it's fighting that. Good grief. Birmingham traffic, Lufthansa 2508, re-established again, ILS runway 15, 7 mile finals to land. Whoop whoop. Let's give this another go, shall we? Full flaps. Here we go. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn the EFB off. I'm going to leave the flight controls on there in case they're jinxing it. Approach mode activated. We've gone below 25, so let's go Alt. Let's reset the heading so we're at runway heading again. Set. Go around memberships, yeah. I have to create a new emoji for go arounds now. 6 miles, 2,000 feet. It's that worries me. When I deactivate the autopilot, my rudders seem to just absolutely go crazy. So what I might do, I'll wait till 500 foot, I think this time, and go from there. Look at that weather transition there. Clear skies over Birmingham very briefly, or a higher cloud base I should say. It's certainly not clear skies. And 0 viz. What's odd is the wind keeps bugging out here, so it's showing ground speed of 100 and then just nothing. So it's like the sim's not quite sure what's going on. But I'll leave it on live weather again. Certainly made that interesting a minute ago, good grief. Stable again. Ecam memos no blue. Haha, Wesley, come on. I'm better than that. I don't want to damage Macco Simulations' great scenery. Trump's getting absolutely bashed today with that emoji. Right, here we go. 4 miles. Oh, we can actually see the airport now. This is where everyone else that's landed is just disconnected. Not waiting for him. Oh, it's at 35 knots at Dublin this morning. 34 knots there again though, look. Good grief. Oh, they've thrown the aeroplane around as well. Let's just go for it again, shall we? What I might do is just zoom out a little bit and manual control so I can watch that flight control page. It's either the live weather rapidly changing, in which case blame a Sobo, or it's the flight controls bugging out for some reason today. Oh well, flying it manually and we're stable. Dropping a little low there, little sink. Okay, let's go back. Proper view. .200 on the rad out. It's doing it again, look.
Minimum.
Wow. You know what? I'm just going to commit. There's a one-wheel landing there. I would have gone around again, but it's one of those. I think it would have just happened every time. Oh well. It'd be interesting to see what Volanta gives me as a reading. So it wasn't the flight controls. It's just I think it looks like the the weather just changing and switching around all the time. I mean, I've got quite a significant amount of left rudder. If I straighten the rudder, oh no, it behaves. Of course it does. Very, yeah, terrible landing, but it is what it is. I was going to go around again. God, I'm having to use a lot of power. Yeah, they'll be filling out their compensation claims in the back, that's for sure. It's one of my worst landings for a while. Birmingham traffic, Lufthansa 2508, runway vacated. Still got it down fairly smooth, I think. And let's have a little look. Where's everybody parked? The other thing that I really hate with a Sobo is when there's weather like this, oops, the friction on the ground becomes exceptionally strong, and it is unrealistically strong. At least somebody waited. What's happening with my flight controls? It just seems really laggy. Hanu in the BA. That's it. Straight after this, I've got a aviation simulation saying I've got an interview with Ryanair after that. I've got that's full left rudder, and it's just not doing anything. Bizarre. That's full right rudder. Something's changed with either the controls or the sim or something. It's quite frustrating. Anyway, let's go clear skies. Or, let's see. Let's go unreal weather actually, we'll see what happens. You see, that looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? We'll use stand 41 left, shall we? We're only a little bus. Yeah, Hanny, that's a great way of explaining that. It is like slipping around on ice. They reckon they, yeah, Peter James. I'm glad there's no replay function in that case, because that was horrendous. We got it down. And we didn't hit the wingtips, to be fair, which is quite good. We must have been pretty close though, I've got to say. So, logbook. We didn't take off apparently. Bloody Asobo. Anyway, so here we are on ground, and let's have a little look at some of these bits that have been worked on in preparation for the update for Birmingham coming soon. Landside and things are going to be updated over time as well. There's not much to see there. There's a little Lufthansa. Remote stands have been worked on. Yeah, we are alive, just about. And we should have Macco Simulations is in the chat as well. We should have stand textures and things input. What's my Volanta? That's a great point. Let me buzz around here so I can show you guys that, and then I'll show you the Volanta foot per minute so you can see what the rating was. So this, as you guys know before, was a generic building. And those of you who know Birmingham will know that this is a fire station with quite an infamous and quite a unique Grade 2 listed sort of air traffic control tower / building. So that is being worked on. It's blank there at the moment because it's being placed. So that's going to be exciting to see what happens and what goes into there. We look forward to that. What else? Ground clutter, the fuel farm as well. Check that out. That was just some random generic buildings. Now we've actually got the fuel farm, which I think is really cool. I like that. That is awesome. The car park as well. He's actually placed loads of cars in there. The decommissioned jetties as well. And we've got these remote stands. Yeah, if I had any hope of being an airline pilot after that, then there's absolutely no chance. So there we go. There's a few little things to be looking forward to with Birmingham Airport being updated, remote stands and things being worked on. Oh, I've gone into the cloud there. The Elmden apron, I should say, is coming soon. That's to be worked on in the future as well. So keep an eye out for that. Once the actual update comes next week, hopefully, if it's with the CRJ, then I'll be coming back to Birmingham, folks, to check that out. Let me just refresh my Volanta. Flights. Right, where is it? Let's see what my foot per minute was then, shall we? Let's get Volanta up. DLH 2508. What's it going to be? That looked pretty good. Minus 51 foot per minute at 109 knots and 1G. So you know what? I fought that hard, but I got it down alright. I'm quite surprised by that. That is exceptionally smooth. I'll take that. And live stream where it didn't happen. You guys have seen it live as well, so awesome. There we go. Look forward to the other updates coming soon, and we'll have a little look at those as well. Thank you as always to our new channel members joining. That's exciting, so thank you all for choosing to join us. And keep an eye on Tuesday, I think it is, we're going to be heading to Lisbon again. We're going to be going from Lisbon to, off the top of my head, where is it? Oh, Madeira. And we're going to be flying the approach into Madeira. So keep an eye out for that. And those of you who want to join us on VATSIM and fly along, you're always welcome to do so as well. UC, thank you for joining as a channel member today, and Aqua Vitale as well too. And as always, those of you who have supported the stream for a while now as well with your memberships, really appreciate it. Supporting the stream and coming along with us. Thanks as well to the guys that flew with us as well. Lots of thanks to give out. Thank you all for watching, and join us on Tuesday. I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend. And get filling out those compensation claims for that landing. I'll see you Tuesday.